people have that
until we end
way
up
of
in
thinking.
slavery again.
I know. I mean, it's going to keep on going, and at some point, it's going to land in your lap. So you have to fight, even if it does seem impossible. How do we get investigate both sides of the argument, come up with your own conclusions?
Oh yeah, yeah, oh yeah, yeah, oh yeah, yeah, oh yeah,
Here
yeah.
is what I want to get us to think about. And you remember when Obama appointed Merrick Garland to be on the Supreme Court, and it was the last year of his presidency. So he was a lame duck president. He was on his way out after doing 8 years.
You talking about Obama?
Obama. And he appointed Merrick Garland. And he specifically chose this guy because there shouldn't have been any problems with him getting appointed. You know, getting what is it? What do you call it when they confirmed? It shouldn't
Getting
have. That's the
confirmed.
reason why. Yeah, because his resume was extensive. It should have been a slam dunk, but it wasn't. It wasn't. He ended up not getting confirmed. And the argument was that he was on his way out as a president. He was a lame duck president, and this lame duck president shouldn't be able to appoint a Supreme Court justice.
Well, see,
But
the problem with that, and I had a problem even when it was happening. It's like how, you know, if you are still president, you exercise your rights to nominate who the fuck you want to nominate, and then okay, it goes, they like that. That's
then it
my thing.
goes to
Like
the Congress, and they have to confirm it. So that's where
the,
the issue comes in. Because you had a Republican majority in Congress at the time, and
but
they
there's
didn't
but
want to,
what
and they were worried about the balance of power within the Supreme Court with the number of conservative judges versus the number of liberal judges on the court.
hmm yes, but at the
Right.
same time, but see, they allowed the Republicans at the time, this because see, my thing is more so with the executive branch is that they have certain powers, and it's good to respect the other branches, but at the same time, they're doing things for their own reasoning. If you really feel that strongly about what's going on, like don't let them use it. Don't use the excuse that oh they wouldn't let me. Like
Well, you
that's
can't.
not.
There was nothing he could have done. The Congress has to confirm who he nominates. That's the way it works. That's the way the government. That's the reason why I started off
Well, did
with
did
how
did,
it's
did they
balanced.
confirm? Did they confirm everything with that Trump wanted to do? And it wasn't a Republican majority when Trump was in office. No, I
But
mean maybe well the first 2 years. Yeah, I think it. No,
yeah, it
no,
was.
no, there,
At the beginning, it was.
no, no,
But
no, no,
that
no, no, no. It was the same. No, it was the same power that shifted from Obama that was still in there
e-
because
either way, that's
they
beside the point. The executive branch doesn't confirm the judges. Congress does. So
uh,
Obama had his job was to nominate them. Congress'
mhm.
job was to confirm them. There's nothing he could have done to make them confirm these people. Like he can't. That's outside of his power because that's the way the government is set up for the balance of power.
Okay.
Because
I'm I'm gonna let that rock, but I felt like there's things that happen in other situations that because the what was his name? Cal no one of the appointees that Trump I don't think they confirmed him, but he still got appointed.
you can't get appointed without confirmation.
I'm trying what was that dude's name? Okay, I'm gonna let it rock. All right, that's fine.
Yeah. So what I'm getting to is this is how we are right now. The decisions that they made at that time, not confirming Merrick Garland to the Supreme Court, is what led to the opportunity for Trump to appoint three Supreme Court justices and have a huge sway on the makeup of the Supreme Court and the power that these, you know, conservative judges that he appointed have over, you know, uh, what do you
Well,
call it?
there
Understanding the
should
law,
there should always be
interpreting
more
the law.
there should always be more conservative judges than liberal, and that's because we live in a republic like this. Like it's just we need a
That
majority
that,
that fits with our uh, government type.
that I don't. I mean, I don't know
That
where to
upsets you,
begin
huh?
with. Yeah, I don't
That
know where to
upsets you.
begin with that. The people are the ones that make the like what it should be is whatever the hell. The people makes the decisions on what it
No,
is,
no, they
and the
don't. No,
president makes
no, we don't.
uh, the president
No.
makes the decides on who's going to be on the Supreme Court, based on his, whatever his political leanings. And that's what makes up the Supreme Court. Not like, oh, we're a conservative nation, so we should have a majority of conservatives on the, okay, whatever the hell. The president nominates who he wants to be on there. If it's not if they're a conservative, if they're liberal, it doesn't matter. Like, that's not a part of the
No,
thing.
it matters. We have a republic form of government. Now, unless you want to see it to be something different than that, then okay, that's a challenge. Like that's something that we have to discuss and see if that's something that's necessary or even you
Either
know
way, so how we've gotten where we are today is as a result of the makeup of the Supreme Court. And they have been making changes to like 50-year-old deals, even longer, stuff that's been standing for the longest. The Supreme Court has made changes, and it's had a dramatic impact
but
on our society today. The laws are changing as a result of the makeup of the Supreme Court, which
but they're just doing
started.
their job.
Okay,
They're not just picking up. Oh, you know what? We're just gonna go and change laws about this, and we're just gonna change that out of the blue. No, there's people bringing court cases to them that they have to decide on based on the arguments that's provided. So
okay, so that's fine. But if the makeup of the Supreme Court was different, if Merrick Garland was in there and Trump was only able to appoint two Supreme Court justices, how different do you think that these results would have been on their interpretations of the law?
we will be in a horrible place.
Okay. Let me play some of
In
this.
my
I want to ask you
opinion,
about the.
in my
Okay.
opinion,
Okay, everyone's welcome to their opinion. Let me play this right
what,
here.
all right, go
It's
ahead.
the it says Senator Merkley McConnell paralyzed the Senate and turned Supreme Court into far right legislature. Okay, and the shadiness of this whole thing
Far
was so
right.
apparent.
Why did
With
okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
the shadiness of the way this happened was so apparent to me. I was watching it. How they were like, Obama's on his way out. He can't appoint Supreme Court uh, justice, and that's
No,
the reason why.
I don't
And
believe that should be the case because he's still president. He still has the power of appointing. Now, using that as an excuse because yes, they could go and not confirm the person for whatever those reasons might be, but at the same time, like using that as that's a lame duck excuse. That's some bullshit just to say oh
that's some
whatever.
straight up
But
bullshit. And it
but
and then they don't
I'm
even
glad it
believe
happened.
in it.
I know
And
because
they, and they,
they're going they're politicians.
and then they turned around and did the exact same thing when Trump was president. He was on his way out, and Trump appointed Supreme Court justice, and they got confirmed. Let
Oh,
me
so
play
so
this.
so, so why didn't the Democrat? Because see, the Democrats wanted it too, and that's the part that I think people will be forgetting is like they're making it seem like like we're the ones that's at more odds than they are down there. Like they all get along, they all and they play along to get along. It's like, all right, oh, what's my role? wait a minute. What's tell me my lines? Like, oh, you got it written down for me
It's
already?
it's
Oh,
I don't
okay.
disagree with that. It's good cop, bad cop, and the American people tend to be the ones who lose as a result. So I don't disagree with that. The Democrats get paid to lose. Like that's what they do. Let's play this.
Breaking news yesterday about Senator McConnell stepping down as the Republican leader of the Senate, a position he has held longer than any senator in history.
Yeah, so McConnell is on his way out. He's not going to run for re-election, and he's no longer
There's a
going to
bunch of them.
be the he's no longer going to be
I
the
think a bunch
majority
of them are
leader
gone.
or the minority leader, depending on who has the power. Yeah, and he's pretty old, and it's like it's probably the right
He should have been gone a long
thing to
time
do.
ago. Just think,
Yeah, it's funny. It's
just think about just think about this, because when you say, the same scenario about you know, the Supreme Court, and if it had Maryland or whatever Garland, whatever his name is, the
Merrick
guy
Garland.
that yes, Garland. He let's just say if your boy here had been gone 3 sessions ago. Like who? Like they must like have nobody running for his statehood, like for his in his state to change the hands of that seat, because he's horrible. Like, and he's not even loyal to anyone. Like
Well,
it'll change.
he's loyal enough to the Republicans. He's the main reason why Trump was able to appoint those three judges, and that's the point of this video right here. And that's why they're starting off with McConnell
But that
and the
okay. That was
impact
to
that he's
his.
had on the Supreme Court.
Well, I tell you what, because that move was good, because if we had the leadership or had the majority um Democrat in the Supreme Court, it's no telling what kind of stuff would be happening. Like the way that like the laws would have changed, just because of the ideology that these people have.
Yeah, well, the way it's supposed to work is the presidents appoint the judges, and the 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 makeup of the Supreme Court would be different right now
Hmm.
today had they not did what they did in a really shady ass way. And so these people were playing the long game. They were a lot of this stuff they were trying to do a long time ago, and now they have the opportunity to get it done. And McConnell was the one who, you know, pretty much he had the most influence over making it happen. So you want to call him a
Well, he's the
rhino,
leader.
all good,
He,
but
well,
he
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 is,
did the
but
most work
a
for them.
selective rhino. He's a selective rhino, because
So
I think there's a lot of
he,
times
he got
in
done what
times
they've
where
been
he
trying to
should.
get done for decades. He got it done.
Okay, but I think that that's with the check behind it. It depends on the situation. Like that's how a lot of them rock. That okay, look, I don't necessarily believe that way, but I hadn't seen, I don't. If maybe I could see it a different way if I had a check that said, you know, $3 million or $30 million or whatever that number
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah.
might be at the time.
He's going to step down next November